right, welcome back. You're watching the Money Show on ET now. We just had an in-depth discussion on how putting money in a bank account really won't yield much, especially because inflation is going to eat up a big amount of your returns. While, of course, the spike in inflation that we saw in the last month is temporary, the unfortunate point is that interest rates will continue to stay low for some time now, or at least until a vaccine is not developed or found. Okay, well, let's now take on board our Spend with TMS segment. As we are in the midst of this health crisis, something that has got us leveling up our hygiene game by several notches, it's got all of you all wondering whether you all will actually want to take a public transport for whenever you'll go to work next, and in turn thinking about buying yourself your own set of wheels, preferably of course a four-wheeler. So let's get you the options available, the new launches as well that are lined up ahead of Diwali, the offers, and even the kind of car financing schemes that automakers are providing by tying up with various banks. I have with me Kranti, Sambhav, the editor and lead auto with Times Drive. Kranti, a pleasure having you with us today on the Money Show. Hope you, your family is doing well amidst this pandemic. Let's start off first by, talking about, this expected increase in demand for four-wheelers. We live in a city, we would like a car that would be attuned to city roads, to city traffic, to city potholes, not to mention, that are literally found at every nook and corner. And you want something that is easy for daily commuting, from home to work and back. What would be, the top parameters that you would want to watch out for, which will fit all of these criteria?
Thank you so much, Veena. First thing which I would look at right now is mobility, in the sense convenient mobility, and which comes in your budget. So obviously, I took this. When we had this discussion, I thought of making a list of all the cars which are not so expensive, because what we are seeing in the market right now is that most of the customers who want to avoid public transportation, they also want to go for some affordable cars, and that's why I kind of made a list of a few products which you can buy under 10 lakhs, depending on different kind of requirement. But when you say criteria, I think looking at Mumbai range, I guess only thing I can suggest is an SUV. If you need to have ground clearance to tackle those kind of situations. And when you ask that question during monsoon times, even looking at Delhi pictures, you can imagine the only thing that is why Indians are in love with SUVs also. Ground clearance is one of the biggest aspects right now.
Ground clearance for sure, because unfortunately city roads are not the best to drive on, and now that we are in the midst of the monsoon, you're already seeing rains play havoc in the state of Assam, and as the weeks progress, rains are only going to get more severe, especially in cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, so on and so forth. So one of the most important criteria then is ground clearance. So Kranti, which are the cars then that is catching your eye, whether it is in terms of already launched cars or upcoming launches? Like for example, Maruti has a couple of launches lined up, I think in August, some of their older variant cars that are being repackaged and relaunched. Anything that's catching your eye which is meeting all these criteria?
Yeah, most talked about, I guess. As you mentioned, Maruti's S-Cross, which is a crossover, which is not exactly a SUV, but crossover, which is about to be launched maybe 29th of July. We might see the new S-Cross Petrol. Otherwise, if you must have heard, even if you you are an enthusiast, but you must have heard about subcompact SUV war, which is going on, and now we are going to see new products. Recently, Nissan showcased their concept Magnite, and Kia has already announced Sonnet, which is in that segment where Hyundai's Korean sibling Hyundai's Venue is there. So those kind of products are there, which are pretty exciting, I would say, and that is that's that sweet segment which is affordable also, but at the same time most of the cars in that segment, they have all the features. But as I mentioned earlier, what I thought that when we're looking at after pandemic, what we're looking at affordable mobility. So if I could just take those cars in different segments. So initially, the entry segment, I thought of espresso and quid climber. In case you just want to use car and you don't want to spend too much of money, maybe you can go for espresso, which is Maruti Suzuki product. And if you don't like the looks of espresso, which is kind of boxy or very micro SUV, which many customers, many people don't like, then you can go for Quid Climber, which is a good-looking car. They are below five. I mean, they start around four lakhs. And segment next, you can go for either Swift or Tiago. These two are those products which are good package. I think when you don't want a big car, but at the same time you want good features and good handling. I guess these two cars they stand out. When you talk about premium hatchback, I like the Altroz, Baleno, and Polo. I mean, Altroz and Baleno are doing really well number-wise. Polo also, I guess, the way it handles, the way it drives, the way it is built. Plus, now Volkswagen is also working on after-sales. That's why even if it's not selling in big numbers, I would still suggest that these three in the premium hatchback segment. And then coming back to that SUV segment, where you can look at, you have lots of good options, right, from Brezza to Hyundai Venue, and Nexon is there, which also comes with, all three are good. And in case you want to wait, Kia Sonet is there. Maybe Nissan Magnite will be here soon. And in this month only, we might see a new transmission option with Hyundai Venue, which is IMT, which has gears like manual cars, but it doesn't have a clutch. So these are the options, I would say, below 10 lakhs. Different price budget. Whatever you want to choose, these are my picks.
So, from the names you mentioned, two really caught my attention, and that's the Sonet, which is, I think, by Kia, and, the Magnite by Nissan with its snazzy new logo. Both of these are still priced on the lower side, and, maybe a lot of viewers may be having budget constraints because obviously we are in the midst of this pandemic, right? We've seen job cuts, income losses, etc. So I want to talk about these two, still not launched, but will be launched very soon. But we do have a rough idea of what it'll look like. We know it'll be charged, it'll be priced at between maybe 6 to 10 lakh rupees. Between these two, which one would you prefer? I mean, what are the striking features? Because they're SUVs, so they would be great city cars with a good ground clearance as well.
Yeah, in that sense, I'm really interested. I'm really intrigued or interested in Magnite first. I want to see that car, how it looks, because if you remember, Nissan had launched Kicks, which was a decent car, which was good car performance-wise, feature-wise, but it was overshadowed by Kia Seltos or Creta. So it had like really bad, really tough competition. Similar case with Magnite also. Why? Because Sonet is basically based on Venue only, which is Hyundai Venue, just like Seltos and Creta, they are sharing the platform. Similarly, Sonet is also a Kia's version of Hyundai Venue, and Venue has proven itself the way it handles, the kind of feature it offers. So somehow with track record, whatever we're seeing in the market, or the kind of reactions we see from car enthusiasts, I think Sonet already has a good word of mouth. Many youngsters or many enthusiasts are waiting for that car since Auto Expo 2020 when it was showcased. On 7th or 8th August, we might see the world premiere of Sonet. So I want to see Sonet, how it performs in that segment or that as a product, and how different would it be feature-wise? Because as I mentioned, Venue and Sonet are basically the same product. But I really want to see what Nissan does with Magnite. If they price it really competitively, I think Magnite has a chance. Because I'm talking about Kicks example, where Kicks was a good product, but it could not compete as far as pricing is concerned. So in case they manage to price it really competitively or really aggressively, I think Brezza, Nexon, even Venue and Sonet, all four of them will face some good competition, I guess. So I would say both.
All right. Okay, so then we look forward for both of them. Kranti, thanks so much for joining us today on our Spend with TMS segment to just sort of get viewers thinking on, the car that they would like to purchase. I would have liked to actually get in your opinion on some of the car financing schemes as well, but we're a bit short on time. So once again, Kranti, thanks so much for joining in. But with that, we're out of time, so we'll wrap it up on this episode of The Money Show. Many thanks for watching. Stay tuned to ET Now, and don't forget to write into us on The Money Show at etnow.tv.